one day after a particularly vigorous workout, he said to me, just to try and get me up off the ground, he goes, Ursh, I want you to remember that the dopamine hit that you get after a workout is bigger and higher than the dopamine hit you get after sex. And in that moment, I knew this kid doesn't know how to fuck. I said, get out of my house. I said, mate, I cannot be skinny and bad at sex. I'd rather be fat and good at sex.
Still no baby, still no pregnancy. We've actually done the fertility test. I don't know if anyone here has ever done fertility tests. For women, they're quite expensive and invasive, but for dudes, pretty sick. Honestly, probably my favourite ever test. Because our test is we have to jizz in a cup. That's the test. Sorry, I said that wrong. We get to jizz in a cup. It felt like permission, When my doctor was like, can you jizz in this cup? I was like, fucking oath, mate, let's go. Honestly, don't even worry about the Medicare rebate on this one. I'm happy for you to keep 100% of the cum, right? It's all yours. Run the test twice, knock yourself out.
If I live in a suburb where models just sort of run around with their portfolios, they have these big portfolios under their arm running around, I'm like, can't you put that shit on a USB by now? What the hell? They love it. And they always look at me like I'm trying to sell them the big issue. I was like, what are you doing? I'm looking at them, I'm like, sorry. Oh, so beautiful. I bet you never leave your clothes in the washing machine till they stink. You're so perfect. Mwah.
So I replied to the approval email just saying, could you please send through a reference for the landlord from a previous tenant of theirs? I've proved I'm a good tenant with some references. Let's now see some proof that the landlord is a good person. And the real estate agent responded with this. They said, the owner does not wish to contact the previous tenants, and it is not a requirement. Fair enough. All the best with your property search. I'm like, all the best with the property search. I've been approved for this place. But then, a minute later, I received this, withdrawn. Dear Tom, we've received advice from you indicating your application has been withdrawn. This message is to confirm we've actioned your request. I didn't make any requests, so I think Stephanie, the real estate agent, has logged into the software as me and cancelled my approval. And I remember looking at this being like, oh my God, I thought they'd say no. I didn't think they'd just immediately cancel the approval. What if I can't find a new place? I could have really screwed over my life here, but I pushed down my emotions, I composed myself, and I did what you're meant to do in these situations. I posted it on social media.
I didn't know it at the time, but that was one of the greatest summers of my life. I was at that age between junior high and middle school where it feels like almost anything is possible. And that summer, I nearly got into the biggest pickle. My parents had gone away for the Labor Day weekend, and instead of taking me with them, they said I could go with my best friend, Donnie Palomito, and his mom to their beach house. We're gonna have so much fun. We're gonna make sandcastle forts and have ice cream Sundays and Mondays. And I was really looking forward to hanging out with Mrs. Palomito. She'd always been so nice to me. And, she was really upset ever since her husband died in that offshore oil rig from food poisoning. And one night, Donnie had a pain in his tum-tum, so he went to bed early. But I wasn't tired, so I stayed down with Mrs. Palomito. And she asked me if I wanted to go into the living room and sit by the fire and talk. Yeah. We talked all night. We talked about everything. It was like no time had passed at all. And just when the sun was coming in through the window, I thought I should excuse myself and go to bed. But she said, hold on. I want to show you something. And she took me by the hand, and she led me up the stairs, and she led me past Donnie's bedroom, all the way down the corridor, and all the way to her bedroom door. And she opened up her bedroom door, and on the floor was a turtle. What a crazy summer.
Yeah, I know it was a movie, but it happened as well, so it's a 2-for-1 meal deal. But remember that bit where it hit the iceberg? Allegedly? And they were all in the water? For a brief period, they were actually getting healthier. They died in peak condition. When Leonardo DiCaprio turned blue, he was in the best shape of his life. Imagine if it had an Apple Watch. It wouldn't have known what was going on. It would have been like, your skin's glistening, Leo, from the collagen production. You're doing very well. Oh, there's been a steep drop-off, mate. What happened here? But imagine if they yanked you out of the the Titanic, because it was real. But imagine if they yanked you out just at the right time.
Yeah. And some of you are like, Olga, what's it like to long-term date a Disney adult? Well, it's when you're performing oral sex at the Toy Story Hotel at Disneyland Paris. Making direct eye contact with Woody on the wallpaper. Then you think to yourself, this is exactly what I had in mind when you said you were whisking me away to Paris.
And morning people, they seem to have a good time. Maybe that's why I don't enjoy things. I'm too tired. Morning people, they're going around doopy-doopy-doo, you know, their elbows out, they've got that Ned Flanders energy. Got any morning people in? What time?
Like 6.
6, that's pretty good. And are you one of those people that just like, I'm awake, that's it, I'm awake?
Yeah.
I gotta get out of bed, I'm awake. Imagine saying the phrase, I'm awake, I have to get out of bed, in any scenario that does not involve a sniper. It didn't even sound right saying it then. I'm not a morning person. Waking up is the worst part of my fucking life every day.
Can I ask you a question, Jad? Do you ever have a male friend come up to you and tell you something and then say, don't tell your wife? Does that ever happen, Jad?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Do you tell your wife?
Every single time.
Every single time? Fuck yeah, Jad. I mean, I've never heard that name before, but it sounds like what a guy with that name would do. Does anyone else feel that in their heart a little bit? Being like, yeah, Jad's a fucking snitch, dude. Like, I thought it was like some cliche, but no, the second I got married, my male friend's like, hey, don't tell your wife. And I'm like, how can you still think you're above her? In the hierarchy, you know? This is a quarterly male friendship at best. Like, how can you think? Like, I've never lost a male friend and had to divide my assets, right? That's never happened. It's like, yeah, me and Jad aren't boys anymore. Now they get to visit the pub every second Tuesday. Fuck off, right? Like, what are we doing? Supervised visitation of the schnitzel? Get the fuck out of here. When someone says, don't tell your wife, I'm like, man, thank you for reminding me of the first person I'm going to tell. Because, you know what I'm leaving in the story? The bit where you said not to tell her, right? That's staying in. You're a fucking snake in the grass, mate, and she's going to know the truth. Because the thing is, like, when a guy says that, it has not once been for my wife's benefit, right? It's never to protect her from sad information. It's never like, hey, Dan, don't tell your wife, but there is this genocide in China, and we can't do anything about it. Because we owe them too much money. Don't tell your wife, you know? They just keep it on the down low. There's never that. It's they've done something fucked and don't want two people judging them at the same time. That's all it is. I love that Jad is just nodding so hard right now, being like, we have the exact same piece of shit friends. When dude said, it's like, hey, don't tell your wife. I went to a massage parlor for a happy ending, ended up paying extra for her to piss on me. Don't tell your wife. Can I borrow a towel? Sorry, Jad's wife, what's your name? Kathleen? Catherine. Fuck, I thought it was going to be weird again, and I apologise. Catherine. Fucking, there we go. That's been a character in a novel. Sorry, Catherine, have you ever had the same thing happen to you? Like a female friend say, don't tell your husband, don't tell Jad? Did you tell him? Depends. Catherine, this isn't fucking daytime TV. What was that noise? Everyone's like, ooh. What's under my seat? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's 10 p.m, you fucking cowards. All right. What does it depend on?
No, 9 times out of 10, I probably tell.
9 times out of 10? You've counted? You've worked out a statistical probability to the breaking of trust in your relationship? I mean, Catherine, the funny thing is, I fucking agree with you 100%, dude. You gotta, that's the difference. When a lady says, don't tell your husband, don't. Don't tell him, because when women say that, it's for our benefit, you know? Like, it's to help us. When women say, don't tell your husband, it's followed up by sentences like, yeah, because girth is more important than length. And you're like, whoa. Jad and I are standing there with our narrow confidence, you know, just getting skinnier by the syllable, right? We can't be too careful.
By the way, can I recommend the next time you're worried about a personal flaw, Just blame society. It feels good, because not only do you get to seem like clever and insightful, you also just get away with whatever's wrong with you. I think you'll find it's society's fault my house smells like this. Good day. But I do think I have a point, because hyperbole is everywhere now. It's the only language we seem to have. I mean, is Gen Z in? Gen Z? You're pretty young. I'm guessing because the light's in my face and people moisturize. I can't tell. I've looked like this since I was fucking 11. I don't. You must be Gen Z, right? I've been on TikTok. I've seen what you guys are up to, and I don't like it. There's a comment on TikTok that the Gen Zers, they leave it under videos they like, whatever, a dog opens a jar. And the comment is, I'm throwing up, I'm crying, I'm dead. That's a stock phrase. I'm throwing up, I'm crying, I'm dead. It's not an appropriate response to anything, is it? Apart from Ebola. Fair enough, Ebola. But a dog opening a jar, no. And hyperbole is everywhere now. Like those reviews I mentioned earlier, like movie posters for theatre, musical. The reviews don't even make sense to me on those. I'll be in like the London Underground, say, and they got those big posters for the West End shows, and the quotes at the bottom will be like, this show left my sense of place in the universe shattered. And you go, oh my God. You read the next quote and it's like, I was sick into my lap. 5 stars. You're like, what show is this? I must know. And you look up at the title and it's a regional tour of Greece. And you just think, that can't be for that. That's not for that, is it? How could it possibly be? And it's all over comedy as well. There's a figure in comedy who is the worst for what you might call performative hyperbole, and I really hate him a lot. It's the cry laughing emoji. I really hate that guy. You don't need to worry about him. On TikTok, the young people, when something's funny, they use the skull emoji because, as I mentioned, they are dead. But the rest of us old fucks are stuck with the cry laughing man. You know, with little tears coming out the eyes. And the reason I hate the cry laughing emoji is because I need him. I need him. If you cover your online video in cry laughing emojis, people click on it like 1,000 times more. It's depressing, but it's true. And it's all about views. If you have a big enough number of views, TV producers, they're too busy and afraid to try and pick a guy on their own, so they just go, big number, let's have him on, right? That's how it works now. So we need views, so we need the cry laughing emoji. That's what the business is. It's all just online fucking. It's not like the old days. I know comedians from the 80s and 90s, and it sounds better. Just back then, you go to the terrifying pub, you go into the basement, be quite funny for 20 minutes, an incredibly frightening man would give you an envelope, and you go, here you go, see you next week. And you go, oh, thank you. And you'd open it up, 60 quid in there, go home, buy your flat, right? And you just spend the 90s amassing some sort of property empire, you know. It sounds fucking great. Now it's just Squid Game with memes and fighting over digital scraps, and we need the cry laughing man. It's all like click-through rates, key performance indicators, yeah? I am my own online digital marketing consultant, audio-visual engineer, podcast producer, gig promoter, like writer, director. The point of this life choice was to have no jobs. Not to have 7 jobs, each more freelance than the last. So we need the cry laughing man, but I don't like him because it's not real, is it? You didn't cry laughing at the dog opening the jar. None of us did. And crying laughing is a big deal. If any of you cry laughing, that is the highest compliment you can pay the chef, right? That's what we live for. It's a big deal crying laughing because it's rare. And you feel incredible for months afterwards. It feels like all the hate that's built up in your pipes has been fired out of you through joy. You feel shriven? Isn't it nice to feel shriven for once? Not just on Shrove Tuesday when you're supposed to. It's a big deal crying laughing. And when you watch the dog open the jar, you didn't cry laughing. What you did was you went, huh. You did a little honk. And that's at best. That is the highest praise you can give to the hilarious online video community. The honk. If we're honest with ourselves, a lot of the videos, we don't even honk. What we do is we watch the allegedly hilarious video in sepulchral silence. And in that silence, we make a calculation about whether or not it's worth forwarding to the family WhatsApp. I don't know if my parents are conversant enough with the universe of SpongeBob SquarePants to really understand why it's funny in this meme that Rishi Sunak is Squidward. I'll send it to the uni friends group. And you make that hilarious calculation in silence in between finishing your shit and wiping. So, don't fucking talk to me about crying laughing, because you didn't.
I quickly want to tell you a side story because we don't have time for it. No. So my wife's grandmother, Phyllis, she's 96 years old, when she died in December, I know. 96 is a good age to get to, right? Yeah, as a cricket fan, I would have loved to have seen her get to 100. She played off the front foot all the time. Avoided a few LBWs, if you know what I mean. But 96 is a good age. She was born on the family farm. She was raised on the family farm. She had all her kids on the family farm. And then she died on the family farm at 96. But the minute she died, everyone was like, she's gone to be with Stanley, her late husband. Let me tell you about Stanley. I've never met Stanley. Because Stanley died suddenly from a massive heart attack at the age of 42 on the back paddock. They said he was dead before he hit the ground, right? Now, Stanley was a wildly attractive man. You know those people, when you see their photos, you're like... Like, it's just on the farm, like the wedding photo. You know, the normal old people photos, there's three. There's him with a young guy, a young man, in a button-down shirt, and then the wedding photo, and that was that. But I look at those photos and I'm like, whew. You know when someone's so hot, you start questioning your choices? And then you remember being gay is not a choice? He was a wildly attractive man, prime of his life, then he dies, now he's in the prime of his death. So how it works when you die is you still look exactly the way you look now, you're just see-through. So it's fact, like I'm not making this shit up. There's a documentary on Netflix, you can go watch it. It's called Casper. Some of you have seen it. No, so you still look exactly like you do now, you just see through. Some of you are sitting in here tonight and you go, I'm fat and ugly, I'm going to kill myself. Don't. Don't. Stay here, you're just going to be fat, ugly and see through on the other side. And they don't have biscuits for us there. Stay here, let's make skinny people uncomfortable. I have a little thing to entertain myself before I get on a long haul flight. When I walk into the plane and you see people, those skinny people watching, no. I just go in there, I'm just in the middle there. And I go, I'm fucking with you, I'm up in business. Bye! Anyway, so Stanley's dead. Now, he goes to heaven. And when you get to heaven, this is how it works. You get to heaven. And in heaven, they have all these pods, right? Like party pods. Like they've got the party pod. What? Everyone's making shit up about the place. Give me a go, all right? So you have the party pod where all the hot people go to party, right? Then next to it, you've got like the knitting pod, you've got the finger painting pod. Whatever you're into, there's a pod for you, okay? So Stanley gets to heaven and God says to him, Stanley, you're a wildly attractive man. You get to go in the party pod. And he goes, no thanks. Because he's read the articles. He's seen the things on telly. He knows he loved Phyllis so, and she loved him so, that she's going to be there any minute. And he says, nah, I'm going to wait for Phyllis. And God says, are you sure about that, Stanley? Because I've got a book in the back. I'm kind of running this joint. And Stanley goes, nah, I'm going to go ahead and wait. And God says to him, you do you, boo. As it says in Leviticus. And I haven't read the whole book. I'm sort of just loosely quoting here. So Stanley starts waiting. Yeah, I'm new. It's weird, I'm see-through here. He had a pie before. After a few years, he realises Phyllis isn't coming. And he can hear the party potters going off. Then he thinks, you know, Phyllis is a wildly attractive woman herself. She's probably remarried to get someone to help her with the kids. He then joins the party pod. And at this point, Stanley starts hammering ghost pussy. Like, no one has hammered ghost pussy in the history of ghost pussy. Right, here's going hammer and tongs, as they say. So one day there's an announcement. Stanley, can you come to the gate, please? That's Stanley to the pearly gates, thank you. So Stanley leaves the pod and he goes, hey! You keep that ghost pussy on ice for me, I'll be right back, all right? He gets to the pearly gates and who's there but Phyllis? He gets a fright naturally. She has shrunk 3 foot, you know. I was like, holy shit, global warming is real. So Phyllis, who never remarried, never even removed her wedding bands, has waited for Stanley all these years. And she's ready to reconnect. She's frothing to reconnect. Stanley says to her, at ease, Phyllis. I've been hammering ghost pussy for decades. I'm not ready for fossil pussy just yet. So I guess all I'm saying is you can work at your relationship as much as you like, but as soon as your partner drops dead, he's going to be hammering ghost pussy in heaven. Or ghost dick. There's ghost dick too. And that looks bigger because it's see-through. And it's better when it's see-through because you can see it coming. Not going to surprise you in the eye with that one. I'm just saying relationships are hard. That's all I'm saying. I want you to answer this for yourself internally. Take this home. Would you, knowing what you know today, and with the path that you have walked in your marriage, would you get married again if you knew how often you'd be fighting about towels? I think every major argument in a marriage can be tracked back to towels. You think she's fighting about, you know, your spending or your... It's not that. It's because you left a towel on the floor. The amount of times it's yelled in a marriage, who used the good towels? Why are you using that towel? Don't use that, that's the dog's towel. Stop touching that towel. Pick up that towel. Why is this towel wet? Why is that towel too dry? Why does this towel smell like that? Why can I break this towel in half? There's so much. I am so triggered by towels. I'm not even lying. I have once seen a whole lot of towels in the dryer and I told my wife that I had a gig out of town and I left for the weekend in the hopes that she would sort it out before I got back. Because I can't handle the stress. And you're like, you're so tense. I start folding the towels and she just walks past. That's not how we fold towels in this house. Like, my relationship's not perfect, you know, because I'm a touring comic, so I'm on the road about 300 days of the year, and we travel as a pack. So right in the beginning, my wife said to me she's scared of flying, which is a huge problem because that's how we do it. Because it's not 1912. But, you know, I'm nothing if not supportive. So... what I would do, if I know we have a flight in the morning, I would go look up the safety specs of that plane. I would look up all of the details. I go, it's an ATR-72, it's the safest plane in their fleet. This is how many seats, this is the quietest seat, this is the one with the most recline, that's where the toilet's located. I even make shit up about the pilot. Because I don't know why they keep introducing themselves. They're not famous. No one gives a shit. No other job on the planet. You don't get to the supermarket and they go, welcome to checkout number 3. We've got Stacey here checking out today on the Olympus 3000. Now, the conveyor's running at roughly 0.0029 kilometres an hour. Yeah, your loyalty card don't mean shit. You want to sign up? Well, recently I flew to Dublin and they were real casual with the introduction of the pilots. They just came on and go, g'day, today, well, not with that accent. Today we've got Alana and Matthew flying you into Dublin. And I looked around and not one person even lifted their heads off their phones that were supposed to be in flight mode at that time. Anyway, I do all of that shit for her. I mean, not anymore. I've now recorded all of the audio notes. So before we get on a flight, I just airdrop her that shit. If you've got an Android phone, you're going to have to Google what that is. What she said to me, she goes, you know what, I'm not scared of flying. I'm scared of crashing. Yes. We all are. When we're in the nosedive into the fucking Pacific, no one's going, fuck yeah! We're going directly into a mountain. Fuck yeah! Matthew and Alana getting it done today! No! We're all scared. That's why the brace position is this. So you can shit up your own back. That brace position is not a life-saving measure. You see people look at the cards and go, that's not going to help. They only want that. Because once the plane has crashed, there are people who have to go around after they've put out the fire to pick up body parts, right? And it's usually your teeth that's left. And they have to put that in a little baggie for testing. That's why you're doing it in the front, so they don't have to go sift through piles of shit for the teeth. The whole Boeing is not designed very well for a crash. Like, you know you're not going to survive. Like, quickly make some noise if you've survived a plane crash. Do you see what I'm saying? Why even bother with the safety features? We're going to fucking die. Let's make this shit fun. The first thing they say, like, you know, we're about to crash. What do they give? What drops down from above your head? Oxygen. You know what oxygen does for your brain? Wakes you the fuck up. It wakes you up. You have crystal clear thoughts. You can remember stuff. You can remember your own birth. You are so wide awake and so alert. My mum was right all these years. You're going to be wide awake when your anus slowly curls over your brainstem. I've applied for a job at Boeing. Because I reckon the first thing, if they know we're going to crash, there should be a button that pops out in the headdress in front of you. A little mouthpiece with, you know, that clay from the dentist that you have to bite into. So then when they retrieve that, they can just do it with those tongs that you see people... 27, I ain't never flossed a day in her life. Once that thing sets, then automatically from above you where the oxygen used to live, a bag of cocaine drops down. Yeah. Even if you've never tried cocaine in your life, shove your whole head in that bag and inhale. You're still gonna die, but fuck, you're gonna believe in yourself. But then she said to me, she goes, look, it's not the crashing even that frightens me. I'm like, fuck, all right, what's left? It's not the cuisine. She goes, it's that bit when you're flying and you must realise this plane is going to crash till when it actually impacts. She goes, that can be seconds, it can be minutes, we don't know because no one's alive to talk about it. But she goes, that's the thing that scares me. That is my darkest moment. That's the thing that gives me anxiety, that gives me panic attacks. And then she asked me to do something, and I'm going to share it with you now, and it's going to sound weird when it hits your ear holes. But just push through and sit with it, okay? She made me promise. She said, if we're ever on a plane together and we realise this plane is about to crash, she goes, I want you to kill me. I told you it's going to hit weird. But hear it. When I heard that, I thought, wow. She trusts me, the person that she loves most in the world. This is before we had children. Now she'll use me as a human shield at a Costco sale. But she trusts me enough that when she's in her darkest moment that I will remove her from that. And I thought that was really romantic. Initially. But then it hit me. I'm on that plane too. But I don't get to experience any terror because I've got one more fucking chore to do. It got to a point we can fly domestic, like we'll fly Sydney to Melbourne. As soon as I get on the plane, I start making a shiv. We hit a bit of turbulence. I've already stabbed her twice. She's like, I'm not even scared, it's just turbulence. I'm like, die, bitch, die! So we got a divorce.
Celebrities seem very depressed, don't you think? Every time you read an interview with one of them, they're always talking about their mental health. They're always like drug addicts, or like, oh yeah, I'm sober, it's been really tough for me. And I think it's weird. I think for us it's kind of strange because they seem to have everything that we're told we should want. You know, they've got power and money and success and all these things we're sort of sold the idea of. And so I have a bit of a theory based on the celebrity hall pass. I think celebrities are so depressed because when they get famous, they do a deal with the devil. And the devil goes, yes, yes, yes. You can have it all. You could be famous. It's going to be so good. You can have everything. But there is this one little thing. You do have to sleep with everyone who has you on their celebrity hall pass. That's why Leonardo DiCaprio is always on a boat offshore with models. He's so scared if he docks on land, there's just going to be like 50 Toyota Camrys. It's just husbands dropping off their wives, being like, here you go, Leo, you know, a deal's a deal. Take care of her. Leo he's just there for days, like, The next week he's got an interview with GQ. They say, how are you, Leo? He goes, yeah, my mental health's really bad. Really bad. Oh, whatever.
I'm sick of video conferencing software, like Zoom. I'm sick of chatting to people on there. Mainly because I had a gag that was working for ages when I was talking to friends on video conferencing software, and it stopped working. I'll tell you the gag. Basically what you do, I'll gesticulate more than usual, and out of nowhere, I'll just freeze. And then my friends will be like, oh no, Tom, there's been a technical error. And I'll hold it for a few more seconds, and then I'll go, hey. And it goes okay in this setting, but in a Zoom setting, that's some of the funniest shit you'll ever see. Gets big laughs every time. Well, particularly the first 5 times I did it, but then the 5th time, and certainly the last time I did it, I was talking to 2 female friends on Zoom, and I was talking, and I was gesticulating, and then I froze. And they were like, oh no, Tom, there's been a technical error. And I held it for a few more seconds, but this time I held it for too long, because they just went back to talking to each other. And then one of them started saying how she currently has a UTI. And I'm like, oh no, that sounds private. But then I'm like, I've heard women talk publicly about having UTIs, but then I thought, I don't think this particular friend had ever told me anything about her genitalia, but by the time I've been thinking it through, I've left it too long. I can't do the reveal halfway through the story about the UTI. Then it makes it look like I did this so I could hear about the UTI. So I'm like, I just need to get out of the Zoom call. But then I realised I can't fucking move. Not only that, I can't move my eyes. Because it's one thing if I do a big reveal, it's another if they just see... Like, that's way creepier. So I'm like, okay, I've got to maintain eye contact with the camera, use my peripheral vision to look at my screen to see when they're not looking at their screens, and then make some sort of move when that happens. So I legitimately sat there completely still for about a minute, looking at my screen with my peripheral vision, and then I picked a point where I thought they weren't looking, and I just went, bam. I just shut my laptop as quickly as possible. I'm like, hopefully that worked. I opened it back up. I'd been logged out of the Zoom, thank God. I got in our WhatsApp thread. I'm like, oh no, there's been a technical error. I didn't admit what had happened. Then on the computer, went back into Facebook Messenger, clicked the link, logged back in. They were smiling. They were talking about something else. They didn't seem mad at me. I was like, thank God. And then she told me about her UTI. So this is a graph of the purpose of that last story. And I've got some more graphs for you. Oh, sorry, it's logged out of the... Fuck, sorry. Sorry, guys. This is what I was looking at before the show to make myself a bit more comfortable. I didn't actually get a chance to go through it. I might go through it now, actually, if that's okay with you. So I'm quite nervous. Make mistakes intentionally. That's what this bit is. Oh, you're not an audience. You might think you are, but you're something different. And that's all from me, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Hope you had a good time. Visual aids of your friends. I'm already doing that. Visual aids of your friends. I'm already doing that. Visual aids of your... Oh. What's your name, sir? Chad, cheers. Oh, Chad, what makes you tick?
Nerd stuff.
Appropriate. Blow off steam beforehand. I did that. I won't tell you how, but I did it. Pay attention to your body. That's actually how I blow off the steam beforehand. That's the end of that article. Sorry, guys. Now I've just got to log into PowerPoint. Sorry, it's an old email. Oh, I hate these. It's the ones on the sides that get you. Like, is my neck horny? I'm going to go with the... Yep. All right. Sorry, guys. Oh, thank you. Yeah. He's horny. This is fantastic. We can't believe it. So this is a graph of how rude it is to hold up each finger by itself. As you can see, the middle finger, by far the most rude. Now, this is my excitement seeing you topless as it relates to how many nipples you have. As you can see, a peak there at 2, that's because of horniness. The second more dramatic peak, that's curiosity. That's... If you've got 3 nipples, piss off. If you've got 9, give me a look. I need to see that. So this is some data from my life. From a few years ago, I went on a date with a girl called Sandra, and this is her enjoyment of different aspects of the date. So as you can see, she gave me 8 out of 10 for the venue, which I chose. She gave me 7 out of 10 for the rapport over the course of the date. Also gave me 7 for my clothes, which I also chose. She gave me 9 out of 10 for my enthusiasm. But as you can see, only 1 out of 10 for the post-date survey. Sandra did not enjoy the post-date survey. This is some data from last year. I stopped recording in September because, as you can see, there's not much to go on. But to be fair to me, a bit of something going on there in March. This is a graph of how many times a girl blew me a kiss last year. As you can see, 0.5 there in March. That's because she says it was a yawn, but I know what I saw. There were 2 of us, we disagreed, so it was 0.5. That's the appropriate place to draw the line. So this is a club that I've always wanted to be a part of, but I also have a bit of a gripe with the definition of the Mile High Club. If I could ask you, Chad, what do you think you need to do in order to get into the Mile High Club?
Be in an aeroplane.
You think everybody who has been in an aeroplane? This is one of the easiest clubs. Have you been in conversations where people are like, I'm in the Mile High Club, and you're like, me too. I went to Adelaide in 2014. Surely you know there's another element.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to mention it?
Go to the bathroom with someone you're very close with.
Okay. Yes, famously the Mile High Club describes dual urination. Lean over to your wife. Would you like to go to the bathroom at the same time as me? Let's piss at the same time. See how streams go into the bit where it's all in at the same time, and then they can be like, "Oh my God, you're my wife's piss." That was your piss in the what I assume is a big container in the plane. I've never been down there. I assume what you're trying to avoid mentioning sex, but you're alluding to sex. Most people would say sex on a plane, right? But I don't think that's enough in terms of a definition, because what if the plane is grounded, right? It's got to be a mile high. It's the Mile High Club after all. So then I think the definition would be something more like sex plus 1 mile, right? But even then, plus 1 mile from what? Plus is unidirectional. It implies unidirectionality. And 360 degrees need to be accounted for in the definition, right? It doesn't matter where you are on the globe. If you're a mile high and you have sex on a plane, it counts to get into the Mile High Club. So then the definition needs to be something more like plus or minus sex and 1 mile from sea level, right? So if that's sea level, then it's either plus 1 mile from sea level plus having sex, or minus 1 mile from sea level minus having sex. But what is minus sex? It's a good question, right? So sex is sex, obviously. Sex minus sex, that's just nothing. That's just zero. Ignore that. Minus sex, I suppose, would be the opposite of sex, and I would describe sex as being about 2 or more people coming together. So I'd say the opposite of that would be pleasuring yourself. So therefore, I think the definition of the Mile High Club is either having sex on a plane or masturbating on a submarine. So the point is, does anyone have a submarine? I've got to get under that club. So this is an excerpt from an email from an old real estate agent that I had a few years ago, and this is after we'd moved out of this place. And I'm not a huge fan of real estate agents. One of the things that annoys me about real estate agents is they always want money out of the bond for irrelevant stuff. They think of it as the landlord's money, I reckon, and they make excuses to try to get money out of it. And this is the stuff that this real estate agent wanted money for after we'd moved out. The thing that annoyed me the most was the pests. She says, "I've spotted ants in the kitchen and in the bathroom upstairs. It's the responsibility of tenants to treat/eradicate. I'll send our pest controller to attend." $99 is what the real estate wanted for this ant infestation they reckon they found, right? And I swear to God, when I lived there, I didn't notice any ants. So I responded to this just saying, "Could you please send through some evidence of this ant infestation?" And this next slide is legitimately what she sent through as evidence of an ant infestation. How many ants do you see there, Chad? 3? Well, there's a cheeky 4th one up there. But still, $99 that's $25 per ant. That's crazy money. I'll flick an ant for $2. What are you talking about? So I responded to this, just being like, that hardly constitutes an ant infestation, to which she legitimately replied, "There are never just 4 ants." Which is an insane claim. Particularly insane coming from someone who recently emailed you a photo of fucking 4 ants. Also, I looked it up online. There are sometimes 4 ants. There are sometimes 4. This is my number 1 favourite comedian, Norm Macdonald. This is my number 2 favourite comedian, Maria Bamford. And my number 3 favourite comedian is the New South Wales Police social media team. Oh, we've got some other fans in the room. Yeah, in this country, our police are pretty funny guys, all right? I wanted to show you some of my favourite memes from, most of them are from this article, literally just 18 of the best bloody memes from our Australian police forces. This is one of my favourites. It says, "Saying married at first sight is on at 7:30 won't get you out of a speeding ticket tonight. Slow down." This is a meme about how the police have no mercy. So this is an absurdist meme. It says, "Excuse me, sir, do you know how fast you are going?" And then there's a horse with a police hat and police sunglasses. This is an absurdist meme which makes you imagine a world where horses could understand the responsibilities associated with law enforcement and were also polite. This one is an even more absurdist meme. It says, "Before and after coffee." Then there's a sleeping horse and an awake horse. The horses are no longer wearing the hats or the sunglasses. So we can only assume they're undercover. But if you break it down, it's essentially a meme about the stimulating effects of caffeine. This one says, "Swipes right immediately." This is a meme about how the police fuck dogs. Is that not what it implies? They posted it, not me. So I'm a big fan of their work, as I said. Some of it I find a bit confounding, if I'm honest, and this is an example. I don't quite get this one. It says, on a scale from 1 to people eating tuna at work, how annoying are drivers who don't keep left? So I think what they're trying to communicate here is drivers who don't keep left, they're annoying. People who eat tuna at work, they're annoying. But what I find annoying are scales that do not make sense. And this scale is from 1, a numeral, to people eating tuna at work, which is a concept. For it to be a scale, what's in between? There's nothing in between 1 and people eating tuna. 1 and people eating... Like, it's only a scale if there's something in between. I thought about it for quite a while, and I think the most generous reading you could make is that it's a scale of annoyingness. And then 1 corresponds to 1 person eating tuna at work, and then 2, and that would be a linear scale. I think the more people eating tuna at work, the more annoying work would be. If there were 100 people eating tuna at your work, you'd be like, oh my God, this is the most annoying day that there's ever been. So I think I'd put drivers who don't keep left at about 1.8 people eating tuna at work, but only if you let me at a y-axis of police sex with dog. Thank you for letting me.
Yeah, I'm not doing well, folks. I live in a backpackers in Sydney. And I'm from here, so... not part of the 5-year plan to be sharing a bunk bed with Julio. He's on the top going... I'm on the bottom listening to a podcast about how to be confident. That's a huge gap in moods to have that close. Like, I can literally see the outline of his horse cock coming through the front. I'm wearing blue light blocking goggles that I got early access to my super to... because of the circadian rhythms. Just sitting next to a candle, brother, you know what I'm talking about. But he's coming in, he's like, we're going to make spaghetti for dinner in the communal kitchen. Just this intercontinental conga line of cunts. Where are you from, man? I grew up just there, okay? I've travelled 30 metres in the last 30 years, like a disabled turtle. Put me down, Francois. Like, just get a hammer and crack my shell so I can slither into the nearest Centrelink and get on the discounted pharmaceutical benefit scheme. Fentanyl, I'm microdosing it. But, you know... This is when you know you've hit rock bottom, when you've got roller luggage and you're not going to the airport. You're just walking around the CBD, just... Going to the domestic terminal? No, I'm going to sublet a bathroom in a McDonald's, okay? I'm going to use the nappy changing station as a standing desk for my Zoom conference calls. There's diarrhea on the wall. That's a Pollack painting. I'll sue you for defamation. I'm in a skyscraper, baby. But I'm not doing well, folks. I'll tell you that much. I'm getting bullied at an indoor rock climbing gym. It's where Dungeons and Dragons meets CrossFit, okay? It's where incels go to excel. It's a great place to go if you want to wear a harness and be puppeteered by a virgin. Just... I was relaxing the other day, throwing lime bikes off a jetty, and that's how I chill. Sipping lighter fluid through a curly straw, it was nasty. I'm crippled by debt because I parked in a loading zone for 7 years, and people freak out about debt. I don't know why. It's not real. It's just like God. It's an Excel spreadsheet in the sky with negative numbers in it. It doesn't change the taste of your Eggs Benedict just because you owe Vodafone $5,000. It still tastes the same. No, it is real, eh? My trigger warning is seeing my full name on an envelope. But I was on the bus the other day and tragically it broke down. But luckily there was a bus replacement train. This might not have happened. I'm on the spectrum, obviously. My personality will be trickling out throughout the show. Like, I don't mean to cast aspersions, but 61, you know, like, I'm like the banana your mum packs in your lunchbox, permeates through, makes your sandwich taste like a Boost juice. You're like, oh, my ham and cheese tastes like a Bananarama. Oh. I was diagnosed on the spectrum because when I watched the movie The Titanic, I empathised more with the boat. For me, 9/11 was just structural damage. Scaffolding is my spirit animal. I like the way it supports a building in the early stages of its development. Scaffolding's like tricycle wheels for a skyscraper. It's like, you can do it, PricewaterhouseCoopers building. Fucking send it. But it's a thing now, guys. It's called neurodiversity, which means there's a diversity of brain types. So neurotypical, that's like being white. That's like you watch Ted Lasso, do meal prep, go to Cotton On just to Shazam the music. Don't you worry, child. What's this one called? I can't quite hear the lyrics. Nasty. Being neurotypical means you think the way Chris Hemsworth looks. I think the way Ronald McDonald looks. And I also look the way Ronald McDonald looks, which is a 2-for-1 meal deal for you guys in terms of working out what I'm about. So that's neurotypical. That's in the middle of the bell curve distribution. Then on the very end, you've got people who can smell prime numbers. 61, just headbutting mirrors, going to the Joker 8 times. Ticket for 2, 1 for me and 1 for the hammer. Because when you're watching that movie, every head looks like a nail. It's not relatable, but yeah, But no, even Woolworths acknowledges it's a thing now. Woolworths now has 1 hour of quiet time a week where they turn off all the music so the autistic people can go and get meagering without having a seizure. Which feels a little disrespectful, doesn't it? Just to set an hourglass and be like, scurrying like rats, okay? You got an hour before Nicki Minaj comes back on and your face plant into the avocado display. Gonna have to do an autopsy on this pile of space cadets that didn't get out in time. We used to cremate them on site, but if you inhale the fumes, you can't read social cues for a financial year, so Woolworths says they're providing a safe space for the nation's most vulnerable. Fuck off. There's a doomsday clock ticking in the background while I panic buy a Fibonacci sequence of items. You've created a fucking escape room for Rain Man. It's like if there was only 1 hour of wheelchair access a week. And then they raised that ramp like a drawbridge on a medieval castle. Just beep, beep, beep. Sorry, Gary, my liege, you're feeding windows over, my lord. After 12, it's a crawl space. I like to do medieval reenactment in the CBD because it upsets people. Do you ever see that? Just these grown men just dressed in full chain metal. Just going, stand down, squire, it's only a flesh wound, no need to apologise. Just these dorks impersonating the jocks of the 12th century. Do you think in 800 years nerds will be pretending to play State of Origin? But soon everyone's going to have autism because of the vaccine, and it's more of a slow-release drip feed. You'll see, 61, you'll find out. I can't wait, because Woolworths will be as quiet as a Tibetan monastery. It'll be the other way round. There'll be 1 hour of Buble for the 4 remaining Sky News viewers just to... You go to Woolworths now, it's like a nightclub. Tonight's gonna be a great night. No, I'm trying to find batteries for my sleep apnea mask. I'm wearing a suit and a backpack. Things are not going well. Because the suit says you're going places, but the backpack says you've got 2 trains and a bus in your future. You're wearing your car, you loser. That's what it is. A backpack's just a car for losers. You're fucking full of used Tupperware because you can't afford food court sushi, dipstick. Just scanning the products. Beep, beep, unexpected item in the baggage area. If I was a baggage area, I would expect all items. You're a passive receptacle for objects, cunt. Get with the program. Stop sounding the bullhorn to summon the last human over to accuse me of stealing. I am, but it's a coincidence. So, like... Fucking goddamn it. See, I was mentally ill before Facebook. Now everyone's got it, but there's no term for us thoroughbreds that were out there in the 90s when you had to be an absolute weirdo to have it. You had to have a trench coat and black eyeliner and be listening to The Cure. Just now blokes can get it. It's cultural appropriation. It was supposed to be for nerds and women. Now football players are crying, fuck off, it's not for you. It's for people who start all their emails with sorry. When I was growing up, I got bullied for being a crybaby. Now it's the opposite. Be vulnerable, you soft cock. Fucking open up, mate, or I'll open up the back of your head, let the demons out. Trying to destigmatise the black dog, you dog cunt. I saw my high school bully, he had a neck tattoo of the number for Lifeline. He's like, open up and tell them about it. Now I'm sponsoring him for a Mullets for Mental Health fun run. It's time to re-stigmatise mental health. That's the thing, we love a vulnerable bloke because it's a charismatic contradiction, like a nimble fat guy or an intellectual on a skateboard. It brings you in. Like, I haven't seen that combination in the simulation. There's a glitch.
Welcome to this evening's performance of Vroom Vroom. Please welcome to the stage from Melbourne, Australia, Josh Glantz.
It's a warm welcome from the crowd.
Yes, I think they're happy to see Glantz back on stage.
Just assembling his props now. There's a head covering and festive jumper. There's a wig there. Uses quite a lot of props, doesn't he, Ted?
Some say he relies a little too much on them. Another hat there.
What's he unravelling? Some sort of taxidermy bird. Fond of taxidermy Glantz.
Oh, hold on. Looks like he's about to start. No, just a mic adjustment.
Oh, something's not right. Looking at the lighting rig. Doesn't look too happy.
Guys, can you see I'm a bit in darkness here? Can we...
He's talking to the tech now. Yes, something's not right.
Could we get a bit
I
more?
think he wants a bit more light.
Great, thank you.
There we go.
Yes, happy now. Very particular performer, Glantz. Many others would have started the show by now, but no, not Glantz. I'm saying that right, aren't I, Ted? It's Glantz, not Glunk.
Yes, Glantz. It's an Eastern European Jewish name.
Does look quite Jewish.
I think he's about to begin now.
Yes, clearly got the microphone in his sights.
It's great to be here. Here. Hello? I think there's something with. It's great to be here. Here. How you feeling? Feeling good? Good. Ready to laugh? It's great to be here. You guys doing all right?
Yeah.
Right? You feeling all right?
Right.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming out.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a person. In the front row.
Row.
I'll do some crowd work. Ease us all into the show. What do you do with yourself? Just say what you do, right?
Well...
It's not a trick question. I'm moving on from you.
What a dick.
And how about you two?
Hello.
Hi. Are you two together?
Well...
Oh, is this a date?
Yes.
No.
Oh, awkward.
It's great to be here. You guys ready for some fun? Fun. You guys ready to dance? Dance. Come on, hop up and dance. Dance. Yeah, you hop up and dance. Yeah, come on, hop up and dance. Dance. Just one dancer. Dance. Oh, round of applause! Give it up for them! Yeah. Give it up for yourselves, for the bar staff, for everyone involved from the whole cast. Thank you so much for coming out. You guys have been an incredible audience. My name's Josh Glantz. Have a great night. Thank you. It's great to be here. Have you guys heard about this? Have you read about this? You don't know about this? I'll tell you a bit about me. You see, the thing about me. I spend a lot of my time alone. My younger sister owns her own 4-bedroom family home. I wonder sometimes, did I do the right thing? When I left my salary and told my family I'm now performing. McDonald's way too much. I love nuggets. And it's been too long since I've been romantically touched. There's this thing I do, and the choice it seems clear. When I stand in this light and hold this mic, 'cause it's great to be here. You feeling good? Good. It's great to be here. Ready for some comedy? Woo. It's great to be here. You two sure you are together? It's great to be here. Thanks guys for coming out. Had a real fun night. I'll leave you on this. Hello? Hey. Hi.
What are you doing?
My show. Yeah.
Do you want to come over?
No, I'm recording my show. I can't really come over. Yeah, sorry.
You sure you don't want to come over?
No, I better not. No, sorry.
Well, let me tell you that if you come over, I will fuck the shit out of you.
Well, let me tell you, due to a recent poo, that's not possible.
What?
No, I'm joking. No, that's a joke. I want sex. I don't. I drive a truck. I drive a truck. I drive a truck. I drive the truck. I
drive my truck in the night, I drive my truck in the day. My truck arrives at point B, my truck departs from point A. I drive a truck in the sky, I'll drive it onto a cloud. My truck can travel in time, it makes a bing bing sound. I drive a truck. I drive a truck. My truck tastes like a licorice stick. My truck hauls wood, concrete, and brick. My truck can vroom at the speed of sound. My truck's got 18 wheels, they stay on the ground. Round down. That's right. I drive the truck. Woo! Oh yeah. That's right. I drive the truck. Yeah, you know I drive it all the time. I drive it in the sky. I drive it on a chocolate cake straight headed for your heart. When I drive my truck straight, I keep it straight down the line. It don't gravitate or deviate. My route is predefined. Goddamn! Whoa! I drive a truck. Woo! Oh yeah! Come on! I drive a truck. Yeah! I keep my truck in my pocket when I want to drive it. I pull it out, blow it into the sky, and then I jump inside. What the hell are you talking about? There's nothing in the pilot, nothing in the pilot, nothing in the sky. Yeah, it's up there. It's floating. You can. No, it's not. You're making a mockery of the trucker profession. Here I am going from point A to point B every day. You walk around as devil talking about chocolate, singing and dancing. Why are you so angry? Why am I so angry? Serious? Because every day I'm going here and I see you and you're walking and you don't even, because you're so goddamn free. It's beautiful. Well, I think the way you care about the whole and real trucking is beautiful. You do? Yeah. I think it's really beautiful. We drive a truck. We drive a truck. We drive a truck. Hey, that's a truck song. That's good. It's quite simple, really. Apologies for spitting all over you. I will continue. Second row, not much safer. Oh wow, what's that? Oh wow. Okay, honey, you go show Daddy. I'll be there in a minute. Aren't they amazing? They grow up so fast. But at her age, I wasn't expecting her to have hair all over her body. Then a friend of mine recommended that we stop giving her hair growth pills. It worked. As soon as we stopped the pills, the hair growth ceased. She became more confident, got accepted into an accelerated kinder program, graduated with a 5-point GPA, and now she's the global head of NASA. But she acts like a bit of a bitch. So we put her back on the hair growth pills.
David's hair growth pills, not suitable for infants available to premium videos.
Thank you.
here from Currumbin Wildlife Bird and Animal Sanctuary. Up on the Gold Coast. Just off the Bruce Highway. On the other side of the Ranges. If you hit the big grapefruit, you've gone too far. But if you haven't seen the gigantic strawberry, keep going. We're just after the big fuck-off wooden kangaroo, you know. And this little guy's Archie. At least I think it is. They all look the same. He's an Eastern Rosella. You can find them all up and down the East Coast. Isn't that right, mate? Isn't that right, mate? Come on, mate. Archie. 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 You're making me look like a fucking idiot, mate. Archie. Archie. He's all right. Come on. Archie. I will fuck you up when we get home. Archie, come on. Mate, come on. Archie. Don't you fucking do this or I'll fucking kill you. Come on, Archie. 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 There he goes. Just needs a bit of encouragement, like we all do sometimes. Archie and I have learnt a song and we'd like to sing it for you now. I hope you enjoy.
Papa loves mambo. Mama loves mambo. Look at them sway with it, feeling so gay with it, shouting no late to wow. Papa loves mambo, yeah, Mama loves mambo. He's so great at it, seems like he gave to it, he loses weight to it now. He goes left, he goes right. Papa's looking for Mama, but Mama's nowhere in sight. Mama loves mambo. Mama loves mambo. Know how to rumba, know how to samba. Papa, he loves the mambo tonight. Thank you so much.
Please welcome to the stage, it's Olga Go!
What's up, teammates?
On September 11th, 2021, my long-term boyfriend broke up with me. And that 9/11 was my Vietnam. He broke up with me mere days after my 29th birthday. As it was happening, I was like, I'm sorry, am I in the opening sequence of every movie ever? If I look into a mirror, will I see Julia Roberts? And I don't want anyone to feel bad for me because I got broken up with. I want everybody to feel bad for me because I got broken up with by a self-proclaimed Disney adult. Do we know what a Disney adult is? It's an adult person who enjoys the works of Walt Disney. It does what it says on the tin. What I don't enjoy about Disney adults is that Disney adults appropriate virgin culture without doing the work of not having sex. That's not fair, you don't get both. And some of you are like, Olga, what's it like to long-term date a Disney adult? Well, it's when you're performing oral sex at the Toy Story Hotel at Disneyland Paris. Making direct eye contact with Woody on the wallpaper. And you think to yourself, this is exactly what I had in mind when you said you were whisking me away to Paris. Because London, if we know anything, is that real men like Looney Tunes. If you can appreciate the curves of Jessica Rabbit's body, your balls have dropped. I don't know if you know this, but Elmer Fudd was actually one of the founding members of the NRA. This is true, you can Google it. Because Looney Tunes teaches you real life skills. Like when there's a gun pointed to your head, you tie it in a knot like a real man. But the thing you need need to know about me is that whenever I go through a breakup, I never get sad. Whenever I'm single, I never get sad. If someone breaks up with me, I never get sad. If someone breaks up with me, if anything, I get more delusionally confident. Do you get this? Like, to give you an idea, a couple of months ago, I was riding this guy's dick, legend. And as I was doing it, I looked him directly in the eye and without a shred of irony said, "I'm gonna make you believe in God." That's the last time I fuck Ricky Gervais, am I right? Come on! We're having fun. I could only come if he did Brent. No, he could only come if he did Brent. And look, it's difficult for me to be the comedian that fucks, okay? That is my plight. I know what you want from me. You want me to be a jester. You want me to be a clown. You want to point at me and feel better about your own lives. You want me to be pathetic, right? So I can't really come out here and be like, I have a lot of sex. I have to package it in a sad way. I have to be like, oh, I have a UTI. But how do you think I got it? And the reason I never get sad after I get broken up with, and I never get sad when I'm single, is because I came of age at a very specific time in history. I came of age in the late 90s, early 2000s, at the peak of hoe culture. I was raised by women like Samantha Jones from Sex and the City, like Nessa from Gavin and Stacey. When I was a little girl, I wanted to grow up to become Stifler's mom. And that is why I never get sad when I'm single. When I'm single, I fly my hoe culture flag high. And some of you may be uncomfortable with the term hoe. I totally get it. I used to be uncomfortable with it as well. But then in the last 2 years, I started referring to myself as a hoe. And I thought, what changed? And I think it's because in the last 2 years, I've stopped deriving so much of my self-esteem from sex and romance and started deriving more of my self-esteem from professional achievements and work. And that's when I realized, capitalism. You old dirty bastard, you've done it again! I just have a new daddy to please. I just want Adam Smith's invisible hand to pat me on the bum. I could do other stuff too. God, I love hoe culture. I love hoe culture. Hoe culture to me is the antithesis to traditional femininity. Hoe culture is a toxic femininity. It's fun. It's flirty. Hoe culture is a self-aware narcissism. Hoe culture is breaking the fourth wall to say, am I really about to suck this guy's dick? What am I even like? I love the women of hoe culture. I love Shania Twain singing, the best part about being a woman is a prerogative to have a little fun. I love Alanis, Avril, all the Canadian yodelers. Do you have copyright to that? It's not necessarily good women either. Nadine Dorries is hoe culture. Brigitte Macron, hoe culture. Do you know Brigitte Macron? First Lady of France. She's married to Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. They met in a classic meet cute. He was 16 and in school, and she was his teacher. 24 years older than him. And every time I think of Brigitte Macron, which is daily, 99% of me is like, oh my God, she's a pedo. She's a groomer. She should be in jail. What a nonce, what a nonce, what a nonce, nonce, nonce. But then 1% of me does inevitably always go, this is her story. Just the 1%. And hoe culture isn't just sex, right? Hoe culture is a way to live life. It's to say, shots on me, and then forgetting your debit card. Hoe culture. What a fun feather boa. Does it come in lime green? Hoe culture. Not bringing any camping equipment to a camping trip you organized. Hoe culture. What's your name, sir? Ben. Ben? That's hoe culture. Wearing a cowboy hat indoors? Thank you very, very much. Automatically connecting to the Wi-Fi at the brew dog. That's hoe culture, baby. And usually, when I need to have my sexual needs met after a breakup, I contact a certain someone called Sebastian. Sebastian is a bad signal to all of my friends that I'm single and I'm out on the prowl. And the reason I contact Sebastian is because Sebastian meets most of my sexual needs. But I know for a fact that I will never fall in love with Sebastian. Because the very first time we had sex, Sebastian brought a guitar. There's no risk of me falling in love with anyone who once posted a picture of Elvis Presley on his Instagram feed with the caption, "Rest in peace, King." But I knew for a fact that I would never, ever develop feelings for Sebastian when I realized that he was the type of person to regurgitate facts and anecdotes you told him as brand new information. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He'd be like, "I had diarrhea at the Red Hot Chili Peppers show. That was me! I told you that." He'd be like, "Did you know that this is where the clit is?" I told you that. But this time round, after this breakup, Sebastian wasn't going to do the trick. Because after this breakup, I had a very specific goal in mind. And Sebastian is quite sexually conservative, he's a little bit sexually repressed, and my goal was quite adventurous. What I wanted to do was something I'd never done before. What I wanted to do after this breakup was to have a threesome. Shock, awe. Everyone's like, "Olga, you're so confident. You look like you've forgotten how to have sex with fewer than 4 people." I know, I'm aware of the vibe that I give off. Honestly, it would be so on brand for me to have a threesome. But the main reason I wanted to have a threesome was because I just wanted to see if I could. Like, no one tells you when you're younger how much sex stuff you do, not because you want to do it, but because you want to have done it. Like, you've had a 69. To like tick the box, not for the pleasure of anyone involved. Right? I mean, a few years ago, I got obsessed with having sex with a rock star. I was like, I want to fuck a rock star. I want to fuck a rock star. And then I had diarrhea at the Red Hot Chili Peppers show. No, I was like, I want to fuck a rock star. If I have a daughter one day, I want to sit her down and I want to tell her about all the rock stars I fucked. Is this relatable? And so I approached it in a very organized way. I found like a medium-sized band. They were called the Orwells. You don't need to know anything about the Orwells. All you need to know about the Orwells is that they're sort of intellectual enough to call themselves after a literary author. But strategic enough to have that author be on the GCSE curriculum. Okay. So I showed up to the concert, I stood in the back, I sipped on my G&T, I plotted, I schemed, I stayed after the show, I started chatting to the band, I focused on the drummer, lowest self-esteem. I brought him home. The second we walked into my house, I was like, "You can go now." He was like, "What?" I was like, "I wanted to see if I could fuck you. I don't actually want to fuck you." He was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, sex with you would probably be terrible. Please leave." And he wasn't too happy about it, but if you feel bad for him, don't. 2 weeks later, the entire band got Me Too'd, so what I was doing was technically activism. Thank you very, very much. So I was thinking as to why I'd never had a threesome before. And I think it's because most formations of threesomes make me feel very uncomfortable. Like, I don't think the division of labor is fair. And I'm very sensitive to unfairness, okay? I don't know if you get this, but like, if I see a pregnant woman and a man out and about, I get angry. I get really angry, because I don't think it's fair for a woman to be less fuckable for 9 months, okay? I'm not saying I wouldn't fuck a pregnant chick. I'm just saying surely it's harder to get laid when you're pregnant. Like, if you saw a pregnant woman in a bar, you'd be like, "Hey, should you be here?" So I've never had a threesome, apart from the time that I fucked that pregnant chick. You'll get there. So let's go through every formation of a threesome and talk about why they don't work for me, okay? First, me and 2 straight men. Absolutely not. No, that's too much work for me. Also, straight men one-on-one, there are some good eggs. Straight men in a group, that's how we get Imagine Dragons. Me and 2 women, that's not a threesome, that's a book club, honey. Olga, what about non-binary people? What about gender fluid people? To me, they are superior human beings. With them, there are no rules. They can pass me around like Pete Davidson. Okay, Olga, what about a man and a woman? I'm sorry, there's not a man on the surface of this fucking planet that deserves to watch me fuck a chick? That's a treat. That's a prize. I cannot think of any man that deserves the satisfaction of watching me make love to a woman. No man deserves that prize. Maybe Captain Tom? After you've done as much as he had for this country, maybe you can watch me kiss a lady. I did this joke to complete silence in Brussels, Belgium. After which I realized that I had to explain the concept of Captain Tom to a room full of unassuming Europeans. And let me tell you, there's no story that gets less and less believable the longer you tell it. I was stuck there on stage sounding like an American drug commercial, okay? I was like, Captain Tom was a war veteran who was walking around in circles in his backyard. He was raising money to treat COVID-19, and when the Tory government found out that he was raising money to treat COVID-19, they decided to give him the job of single-handedly curing COVID-19. No offense to Captain Tom, he did a terrible job. And to thank him for everything he's done for COVID-19, British Airways decided to give him COVID-19 by sending him to the Caribbean, after which he tragically passed. But he died safe in the knowledge that his daughter Hannah stole 600,000 pounds from him. And I'm calling it now. 2 years from now, HBO will get the writers of Chernobyl to do like a Lady Macbeth-esque retelling of Hannah, Captain Tom's daughter. It's the beginning of the pandemic. Hannah's husband loses his job. Hannah has a bright idea. She puts a tripod in front of her father, who's walking around in circles and has no idea what's going on. And at first, they make a little bit of money just to cover the mortgage, maybe some groceries. Hannah's husband's like, babe, that's elder abuse. She's like, who else is gonna pay the mortgage, Chris? They make more money. They have to start a foundation, hire an accountant. Hannah's getting sloppy. Hannah's buying shoes. British Airways flies them out to the Caribbean. By this point, Hannah's too far gone. She's sipping on pina coladas by the pool. She has Captain Tom on the next season of The Masked Singer. They fly back. Captain Tom tragically passes, played beautifully by Eddie Redmayne. The death doesn't stop Hannah. She calls the ABBA hologram people. And if you think I've gone too far, I think we can all collectively agree that Rosamund Pike is going to look beautiful at the Golden Globes. So what I'm trying to say is British Airways killed Captain Tom, so now I can't have a threesome. And there's only one threesome that would work for me. It is a very rare threesome to come by. It is the holy grail of threesomes. And that threesome is me and 2 bisexual men. Because that's a triangle where everybody can entertain everybody, nobody is texting in the corner. Any bisexual men in? Statistically unlikely. Any open-minded straights? Any conservative gays? Look, I urge everyone to reconsider. I think bisexual men are superior to straight men in every single way. For example, bisexual men can take a nude, okay? Because bisexual men are terrified of objectifying themselves a little bit, right? Like any straight man nude I've ever received has always just been a very tightly cropped medical image of their dick that's like, ah! It's purple. Any straight man nude I've ever received can be captioned with the words, "Is this normal? Should I see a doctor?" Because straight men are so terrified of being gay, the second they see a penis on their phone, even their own, they're like, "No!" And they throw the phone across the room. A bi guy isn't afraid of his own body. Maybe he'll get a thigh if you're lucky. He'll be like, "Ooh, it's attached to something."